Peace. This is about Walmart employees stage walkout, demanding retailer end gun sales. And of course, over the last weekend, it was an alleged mass shooting between El Paso and Dayton, Ohio. Walmart employees are urging the corporation to end its sale of firearms in the wake of mass shootings at El Paso, Texas store and Dayton, Ohio's downtown district. A weekend of violence that killed 31 people and injured more than 50 others. So the Walmart employees are injuring the corporation to end their sale of firearms. Well, first of all, why even advertising them in the first place if you don't want people to know about guns? Why advertise them? If you don't want people to know about them, don't advertise them, because this is what happens when you get the alleged mass shooting. It's not so hard to use the brain to not advertise something that you don't want people to know about. On Wednesday, Thomas Marshall, a manager in Walmart San Bernardino, California, e-commerce office, organized a walkout and encouraged his colleagues to sign a Change.org petition demanding that the corporation, one of the nation's largest retailers of guns and ammunition, cease profiting from firearms sales. So the Change.org petition, of course, organized a walkout and encouraged his colleagues to sign a Change.org petition demanding that the corporation, one of the nation's largest retailers of guns and ammunition, cease profiting from firearms sales. Well, people are still going to make profits off of it no matter what, even though if you don't want people to know about you have guns allegedly in Walmart, then don't advertise them. Don't put signs up or nothing like that, because this is why you get these alleged mass shootings. The petition, which was created by Marshall and a colleague, has already amassed more than 55,000 signatures for employees and the public. So there was a petition that had a lot of signatures, 55,000 of them. It came from employees, the public, and who knows who else. And it was created by Marshall and a colleague. Now, we don't know who the colleague is, so we're going to assume that colleague will remain anonymous, whoever it is. We value Walmart and our fellow associates, but we are no longer willing to contribute our labor to a company that profits from the sale of deadly weapons, it reads. We would like to see Walmart take a unified and public stance against guns and gun violence. Well, you know what this will happen. Of course, guns are being taken away from people as it is, so nobody can defend themselves. Now, Walmart say they value themselves and their fellow associates. Well, if they value themselves so much, then why did they even start advertising about the firearms in the first place, if they so-called value themselves? And they also saying, we are no longer willing to contribute to our labor to a company that profits from the sale of deadly weapons. Well, that's fine. But still, all the way around, profits are going to be made one way or the other. And this is too dangerous to even have firearms around anybody in the first place, because people don't take responsible for themselves. Oh yeah, I went and did this and did that. But earlier I posted a video about a guy who admitted to shooting 22 people, allegedly. But now with this Walmart here, people are walking out because they don't want nothing to do with it anymore. The call to action cited Saturday's El Paso massacre, in which a gunman opened fire with an AK-47 style rifle, leaving 22 people dead, and a separate incident on July 30th at a Walmart in South Haven, Mississippi, where a disgruntled employee was charged with shooting and killing 2 co-workers. Well, okay, so you got the alleged AK-47 style rifle. Of course, that was in El Paso Walmart there. He opened fire with an AK-47 style rifle, allegedly. He left 22 people dead in a separate incident on July 30th at a Walmart in South Haven, Mississippi. Now, wait a minute. What about Dayton, Ohio? Didn't they have their alleged shooting as well? They must have forgot it somewhere in this article. Adding to the death toll, a shooting at California's Gilroy Garlic Festival last month killed 3 people and 9 were killed Sunday in Dayton. Alright, so they didn't forget Dayton. And of course, there was a death toll at a shooting at California's Gilroy Garlic Festival. People allegedly died there too. So, and of course, I don't know why Mississippi is in the middle of this, but somehow it went from El Paso to South Haven, Mississippi, then to Dayton, Ohio. I don't know what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to confuse us. But last month, 3 people and 9 were killed Sunday in Dayton. So that was this last weekend. Marshall told HuffPost on Friday that 40 employees participated in the San Bernardino walkout, and he helped to organize another at a Walmart e-commerce office in Portland, Oregon. And so Marshall told the HuffPost that all 40 of his employees participated in the San Bernardino walkout. And of course, he helped to organize another at a Walmart e-commerce office in Portland, Oregon. So is this going to become an entire nation thing or not? Because we don't know what is going on. I mean, you got all these alleged mass shootings going on because with the 2020 presidential coming soon, your guns are going to be taken away. And there's no getting them back ever. So once they're gone, that's it. You ain't going to protect yourself in no way unless you got a baseball bat or something to protect yourself. On Friday, a Walmart spokesperson told HuffPost that she feels there are better ways to speak out. So what kind of better ways is there to speak out? They tried that. Nobody listens because the politicians don't give a crap. They just want your guns. They just want you to be defenseless. And martial law is coming. This is what it's about too. Martial law. That means you are not going to be allowed to defend yourself or nothing like it. There are many more constructive avenues for associates to offer feedback, such as emails or leader conversations, and the vast majority of associates who want to share their views are taking advantage of those options, she said. So you got your choice, emails or leader conversations. Those are the only choices you got. There is no going on TV, nothing like that. And the vast majority of associates who want to share their views are taking advantage of those options. So those are the only 2 options you got. Marshall said he has already faced retaliation for speaking out, having been shut out of Walmart's server this week, unable to log into his laptop and access email or a messaging program. He was also spoken to privately by a human resources representative who told him that if he wasn't in the office, he didn't need access to the server. An explanation, he called, a very thin excuse, and immediately suspect. So Marshall has been locked out of his computer. He can't get in at all. He was unable to log into his laptop and access email or a messaging program just because he spoke out, allegedly. He was also spoken to privately by a human resources representative who told him that if he wasn't in the office, he didn't need access to the server. So they're not going to let him have access to anything right now. And of course, the explanation he called a very thin excuse and immediately suspect. Now Marshall is concerned he may be fired. Nothing that, although he has faith in the laws of this country, that employees have very, very rigid protections when it comes to free speech. I know that I'll never be promoted in this company. Well, why should anybody be promoted in this company if you're going to be locked out? And now he's fearing that he'll get fired. And of course, when it comes to free speech, it has been very, very rigid protections because this is what their employees have. So they're not allowed to have free speech at all. Yeah, that's right. Marshall is concerned he may be fired, and noting that, I'm sorry. He says he has faith in the laws this country, that employees have very, very rigid. But he also said, I'll never be promoted in this company. Hey, things happen, but being fired, I don't know. In 2015, Walmart banned assault style rifles from being sold in its stores, but gun control advocates like Marshall are calling on the corporation to do more. So in 2015, Walmart did ban assault style rifles from being sold in its stores, but gun control advocates like Marshall are calling on the corporation to do more. Of course they want to do more. They just want to take your guns away from you so you can't defend yourself. Once they're gone, that's it. And don't even try to hide them, because with the martial law, they're going to check every inch of your house no matter what. It don't matter if it's from top to bottom or bottom to top, because they're going to see if you having any guns anywhere. This is what martial law does. They do not want you to have guns. Stores are now being directed to temporarily take down violent video game displays, which spokeswoman Tara House said was out of respect for the incidents of the past week. So now you got these violent video game displays. Of course, yes, they do have guns in the video games as well, because kids, they're mimicking the video games, of course, and this is why kids are out of control these days, because they don't listen to their parents at all. And with the video games displays, yes, they have to go, because if you don't want your kids around guns, get rid of the video games. That has the violent video game displays of the gun violence. Kill them out of the house, throw them out of the house, the violent video game displays, because your kids don't need to be around it. Among Republicans, including President Donald Trump, video games have become a talking point following mass shootings, as certain members of the GOP claim the violence depicted in entertainment influences shooters. However, overall research has come to no strong conclusion on that theory. So now you got research, don't have a conclusion on that theory. Now we got President Donald Trump and the Republicans have become a talking point about following mass shootings. So, and certain members of the GOP claim the violence depicted in entertainment influencer shooters. So the kids, they are influenced by these video games that have all the shootings and everything in it. It should be for adults only. No kids allowed. They should restrict these games and say adults only. Kids are not welcome to these games at all, because this is what is going on with them. On the sale of guns, House said Walmart will continue a thoughtful and thorough review of our policies, providing no indication change will occur. So they said House said Walmart will continue a thoughtful and thorough review. What thought and review, or thoughtful and thorough review of their policies? Didn't they supposed to do this a long time ago, but then it couldn't? Of course not, because the politicians are just going to ignore it, like always. And of course they don't care who gets hurt or what. So far, Marshall has described his company's response to the violence as tone deaf and very disappointing, chalking it up to thoughts and prayers. So Marshall has described his company's response to the violence as tone deaf. In other words, his company don't care what anybody says. So the company are just going to do whatever they want to do because they're tone deaf. And very disappointing. And Marshall, he is not happy about this though. But he is chalking it up to thoughts and prayers though. Marshall's next step is to send a petition to Walmart CEO Doug McMillon. Alright, so that's what Marshall is going to do. He's going to send a petition to Walmart CEO Doug McMillon. Now, will Doug McMillon take that step or not? And I have a feeling he probably won't, because I have a feeling he's just going to ignore it like the politicians do. Yeah, we're just going to let them do whatever they want to do. Well, you know what? I mean, really, stop putting signs out to advertise firearms for real. Stop it, because this is why kids are mimicking everything on top of it. In a statement released Wednesday, McMillon said he felt shock, anger, and grief over the shootings, but made no mention of gun sales. So there's no mention of gun sales. Okay, so that's fine. In a statement released Wednesday, McMillon said he felt shock, anger, and grief. Well, apparently you got a lot of actors in all these alleged mass shootings. And of course over the shootings, but he made no mention of gun sales. So he didn't mention anything, but still putting signs up to advertise firearms. I think that's gone a little too far. We'll be thoughtful and deliberate in our responses, and we'll act in a way that reflects our best value and ideals, focused on the needs of our customers, associates, and communities, he wrote. So he's saying that we'll be thoughtful and deliberate in our responses. What deliberate responses? The people are trying to tell these people, these employees, stop the sale of firearms. Why should they care? I mean, come on. All this is a distraction. This is why it's called false flag for a reason. It's all a distraction. And of course, it's focused on the needs of our customers, associates, and communities, he wrote. Really? Not one single thing is going to be done about this at all, really, because the politicians don't give a crap. And they're just tone deaf like anybody else. And these politicians. Leave your comments below. I am out.